I promise you, the coaches will coach better in order because they know they're going to get recognition. You're going to be on national TV. They have all the reason to come in and watch the Cowboys and wax their ass. So I'm telling you right now, you better play like you're playing the Super Bowl and do not give up. And if there's anybody that's ready to play on this team, that's why you went to training camp. You took your ass to training camp to make the football team so you can play. So get your ass out there on the field and play and play and stop playing around with. I don't know if he should play. Well, hell, if he on the team, he better get his ass out there and play.
What is up, Cowboys Nation? Your boy Mike Tag here with Kelly K9. Training camp is starting. Did a little different intro, Kelly. I don't know if it made sense to you. You didn't get a chance to see it, but hopefully you guys kind of understood the method to the madness of what I was trying to do. But before we get rolling, I want to get your thing. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe, like, share, all that kind of good stuff. We appreciate, man. We got like 130, 140 new subscribers in the last week. So I guess begging works, Kelly. I don't know. I guess begging works.
Yeah, it's funny. It also gives the trolls a little bit of ammunition. I was getting into it with the guy today, and apparently he couldn't get anything on the argument we were having because I was making him look like an absolute fucking fool, which, he deserved that. He earned that award himself. I didn't really do it. He did all the work himself. But he came at me with, keep begging people to go to your podcast. You're begging for subscribers. And I said, well, listen. I said, I may be out here begging for subscribers. I said, but I've had the chance to interview on our podcast. I said, former Super Bowl champions, players, head coaches, analysts. I said, you're sitting over there banging your keyboard on Twitter. So I said, you know what? I'll keep doing me, trying to promote this channel that me and my buddy run. And you go ahead and keep hating from the sidelines, doing nothing.
That's what they do. Those who can't hate. That's usually the way it works. So, and we do this for the love, and we do it to hang with Cowboys Nation and some Eagle fans. I know Carl's in here. We got a few Eagle fans that like hanging out with us. But if you guys saw the intro, my thought behind it was I was putting all them Cowboys on there, and I was putting them legends, them champions. That's been our theme, all off season is we got to get that championship mentality. So we've brought in, like Kelly said, we brought in all the champions from every era. Every Super Bowl has been represented by a Cowboy to try and get this mindset right for this team as they go into training camp. So that was really the thought of when I created this thing and just kind of put it together is it's time for you guys to quit living in the past, living off that past glory and create your own history, your own glory that we can all enjoy. The younger generation, they can enjoy their first. You and I, we enjoy our fourth. Some it's going to be their sixth or fifth or whatever it is. But it's time to go to work, man. It's camp time. And, it's optimism around the NFL for every team. And I think that's what I love about football more than any other sport is every team, for the most part, has a legitimate feel confident that maybe this is the year because it's been proven, right, Kelly? Some last place teams end up going to the Super Bowl or going deep in the playoffs. So it's about to get this thing started.
Yeah, no, it is. And when you talked about the optimism, I'm still trying to come around to that point. I still feel man, and I don't know what it's going to take to get me back around. Don't get me wrong. I'm going to be hyped for these games, and I'm trying to get people on the hype train. But, as far as the optimism goes, I guess it is one of those things where it's like I'm hoping on hope, man. It's my heart that's here with the Cowboys that's hoping for something, but it's my head that just can't get over the fact that I just don't think this team improved off of last year. I don't think we got better. I hate to start the show on a damn note. I don't start it on a damn note. I'm just telling you where I'm at right now. I'm telling you where I'm at. I'm sitting there and I'm just thinking to myself, we got a long season ahead of us and lots of things can happen. So I'm trying to psych myself into it, but I don't know, man. I don't know. It's just a bad vibe all around. Just with the fact that the Cowboys sitting on their asses hadn't done nothing. CD's not at camp. I know a deal's going to get done, but the Dak deal ain't done. It's just I'd feel a lot better if Dak and CD were already signed.
Yeah, yeah. At least CD. I mean, Dak, to me, here's the thing. Dak doesn't have any issues. And what's up, everyone in the chat? Ethan, don't worry about the language. It is what it is. Sometimes you got to come in hot. Sometimes you got to get fired up. It's training camp. So I respect it and give, I understand it. But, the Dak thing doesn't worry me as much this year because he's been there. He's going to go to work, right? And if they don't want to pay him, then let them worry about it. The CD one it kind of bugs me a little bit because why do we need to go here? Like, why is it now? Why, all right, you did it yesterday. You do it day before. Get the drama out. Now, Jerry, they got the press conference tomorrow. Maybe that's when they do it. I don't see it being a long holdout. I just, they love being in the news, and I just wish they wouldn't want to be in the news so much and just get the shit done. He's going to get paid. I mean, there's nothing, there's doubt in anyone's mind. He's going to be a Cowboy. There's no doubt in anyone's mind. That's the one that if it bugs me. The Dak stuff doesn't really bother me because it doesn't bother Dak. If it don't bother him, it doesn't bother me. I don't care. He's the one.
And that's what's ready. That's what I got to always tip my cap to him, regardless of what happens with him in the future. I got to tip my cap to him. He handles it like a professional. I mean, if I was Dak, I'd sit out. I wouldn't play. I'd say, you know what? You ain't got me to a new deal. I'll sit out. I want a new deal. And because there's other players that could do that. There's other players that have done that. Ezekiel Elliott did that. CeeDee Lamb is doing it. If I'm petty. If I was Dak Prescott, I'd say, you know what? I'm not gonna play. Let's see how many games you guys win with Trey Lance. Yeah. The fans are clamoring for another quarterback. Hey, let's see what you do with that one, but Dak has handled it like a professional throughout the whole offseason with everything he said, coming to training camp, OTAs. I mean, he's leading by example. So, it's time to get training camp going and start building some chemistry with these young receivers right now, because that's what he's going to go into camp with. He's going into camp without a CeeDee Lamb. So now you're going to start seeing what some of these younger guys got. They're going to get their opportunities to showcase their talents, and we'll see what we got.
And the thing is don't think CD ain't working. I mean, these guys, they got these personal trainers. And it's 24/7, 365 for these guys. I mean, he knows. It's not like he's at home drinking some beer, sitting on the couch. I mean, he's still working and doing everything. So when he comes in, and it's going to happen, I'm not worried about that. The thing that I'm just kind of like, I don't know what I'm going to do, Kelly, because I'm about to say something that is like, I don't know. I don't know if lightning's going to strike. I don't know if the station's going to change. I don't know what's going to happen, but I agree with Ultra. You understand what I just said? I agree with Ultra. I think the roster's better. I think addition by subtraction. I think the linebackers are better. I think the receivers are going to be as good or better. I think there's opportunity for them to be better with some young guys. We'll see. I think you're getting a Jake Ferguson that's going to be at a higher level. I think the offensive line is going to be better. I think Dak is going to be better because even if they don't re-sign him, he is going to be pissed off. He's going to have something to prove. And I think you look at the history of guys on one-year deals, they always end up putting up big numbers and playing their best. So maybe there's a method to the madness there. I think our cornerbacks are going to be better. You're getting Diggs back. You didn't have him pretty much all year, right? We didn't have him all year last year. So maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm getting this hype thing, getting ready to go. I don't know, but I think we're a better roster. I think our defensive coordinator is going to be more aggressive and better fit the mentality that we need for this team. So you call me crazy, Kelly. I don't know. What do you say? Did I convince you at all?
I'm not going to call you crazy. I think maybe by the end of the year, the offensive line's better. I'm still very weary about that offensive line with Tyler Guyton. Left tackles is a challenging position to play. I don't know, man. I don't think I don't like the running back room better than I did last year. I liked it better last year than what we got this year. I don't think the
running back room was shitty last year. I don't think it's any different, right?
No, it was, but I think Pollard, the injury. I think this year Pollard. I think Pollard has a better season than Zeke. I think Pollard is a better back than Ezekiel Elliott at this point in his career. I think, Pollard was coming off an injury last year and still was kind of getting towards full steam. So I don't like the running back room this year. I didn't like it last year either, to be honest with you. So, I mean, there's not really anything there, but linebacker, I think has the potential to be better. But I got to see that on
better than last year. We had safeties at linebacker, Kelly.
I just got to see it on the field, though. I got to see, we got a guy that's coming off a pretty major injury and overshowing that we're kind of dependent on. And Clark, has shown some flashes, but he did struggle still last year, and that's why there was guys that were playing out of position at that, because Clark wasn't really doing what we needed him to do and wanted him to do. So he's got to change and get with Zimmer's scheme, and hopefully he does. The interior of the defensive line, that's still, for me, I think that got worse. I don't think that it was a huge loss, with what we lost to the Commanders that, Dan Quinn took with him, but I'm just not convinced that we have enough there with, Mozzie Smith. I'm just not, I throw my hands up with Mozzie. I really don't think he's going to be a good defensive tackle in this league. I think he's a bust, and I hope I'm proven wrong, but I think he's a bust. So I don't know, man. I think there's a lot of unprovens on this team. I think it's a lot of unknowns. So if all these guys turn out good, but basically, if you look at it, we have to pretty much have hit on everything, that all the picks that we made in this draft have to be contributors. Like, they can't just be guys. They got to be the guys. And are we going to be able to have that? I don't know, man. I had to see it. I got to see it to believe it. So I don't know, man. I'm hyped for the season. I'm ready to get it going. I don't know, man. I don't know.
Well, we're gonna get you. I'm gonna work on you, man. We're gonna get you ready by the time that video drops before for the Cleveland game. You're gonna be all in. I'm just saying I played a video. I wish I had the video. I wish I would have clipped it, but it's funny. I sent it to Gogan a while back, and it was Troy Aikman, talking about with Jimmy Johnson. They had a little, Aikman's Fox podcast, and this was a few years ago. And he was talking with Jimmy Johnson, and he was saying that so many teams, they go after talent. They want the talent. And, the one thing the Cowboys had, they had a lot of guys that maybe weren't the most talented, but they were kind of the glue. They were the guys that kind of kept the team together. They were the kinds that made the training camps, made this, long seasons enjoyable. And maybe the Cowboys got a few of those, through the draft over the past few years, or even some of the, little strategic free agents. I think of Zeke as being one of those guys. Is Zeke what he was in 2016, 2017? No. But he's a great locker room guy from everything that you see, right? Everything you hear. He's a great locker room guy. He kind of keeps them balanced. So he's maybe a guy that could be positive. Kendricks seems like he's got a great attitude. He's going to be one of those blue collar guys. They got some blue collar guys. Look at Tyler Smith. He was laughed at, right? We took out a lot of shit. He's actually kind of becoming a leader. I mean, you heard him in training camp talking about CeeDee Lamb not being there, and it's going to get done, and he's going to be, and we're going to pick up the slack, and we'll handle things. All this. It's these other guys. It's not the big name guys. It's those middle tier guys that are stepping up, and maybe that's what this team needs, is not a bunch of names, not a bunch of superstars that they need some of them role players, some dirty guys, and I think Guyton. I know he's a rookie, so like you said, it remains to be seen. But he's one of those. I just listened to that press conference, when he, interviewed, and he just wants to maul people. It reminds me a lot of an Eric Williams mindset. Now we'll see. I'm not comparing them. Don't come out here and start yelling at me in the chat. But that mindset, maybe we need some more dogs, some more of that. BB's kind of the same way. Hoffman is the same, right? So am I selling you on this stuff, man? Am I helping or no?
Yeah, I mean, you are. I still have PTSD from the Green Bay game, man. I still have the.
We don't talk about that.
I still have the flashbacks, because I think the core of this team. I just don't know who we got that's really going to change the outcome of a game ultimately. Like, I don't know really who we got that changes what happened in last year. You know, I hope that the linebacker play is better, but I mean, there's no, I mean, everybody keeps saying that Overshown's going to be a stud. I can't get it out of my mind. Everybody said Jabril Cox was going to be a stud, and he had that same trajectory. He played great in preseason. He had that one great preseason, and he got injured, and he played, and then he came back, and he had a couple of games towards the end of the season where he had a couple of flash plays, and then so the next year everybody's going to the year they're like, Cox is going to, you know, and dude couldn't even get on the field, and it wasn't even really that great of a linebacker core with him. So, you know, I don't know. We got that rookie though. I don't know.
I always mess up his name. The guy with the hair. That's right.
Yeah. Troy Polamalu. Let's hope that
it's Lia. Is it Liafu or
Liafu or Liafu?
I'm gonna learn it because I keep.
I don't know how to say that name, but yeah, I don't know, man. I'm just ready to see what these guys got. I think honestly, the way that I felt, what hasn't changed my opinion was that I thought at the beginning of the offseason, I thought that the Cowboys were a couple of key pieces away. And when I mean pieces, I mean difference makers, right? I thought that we were like a defensive tackle, a solid defensive tackle away. I thought we were a starting running back away. I still feel we're a starting defensive tackle away. I still feel we're a running back away. I just don't like what we have in that running back room. I don't care if there's 30 running backs in there.
Can't argue that.
I don't like what we got there. And I think the running back room this year reminds me kind of how they've set up the wide receiver room in the past when they decided to get rid of Dez Bryant and say, you know what, we don't really need a number one wide receiver. And I mean, how did that work out for him? And just, you know, I don't know. And to answer that question, do I believe in Dowdle? No, I don't believe in Dowdle. I think that he showed flashes last year. I do not think he is a running back one. I think he's a backup. So I think we've got a lot of running back twos. I think we've got a lot of backups. I think that's what the Cowboys have right now. I don't think any one of those guys are starting running back caliber material. I don't think any one of them running backs you're going to draft in your fantasy football league. I mean, I
don't think there's any Cowboys you're taking. Yeah,
I wouldn't take no Cowboy running backs out in fantasy football. And now I get it, that's fantasy football. And obviously, if you got a running back by committee and that's working, then hey, good for the Cowboys. But no, I don't really have faith in anybody in that running back room, and I just really question the interior of that defensive line. I think better linebacker play will help that, but I still think we're weak up the middle, and I think that teams have exploited that in the past, and I think that's been a problem for the Cowboys. That's why they drafted Mozzie Smith. That didn't work out well for them. So what did they do in the offseason? Did they go out and grab a guy to help that? No, they let guys walk, and they decided, you know what, we'll draft a guy in the 7th round, and that's our solution. And I don't think that's I don't think it's good. That's why I have the Cowboys, you know, winning a few less games this year than not going 12 and pronounce.
Crack at it, you first.
It's Leo Fowl. Leo Fowl. Leo Fowl.
You do that right, Stephen? Leo Fowl.
Yeah, Leo Fowl. Right. But yeah, I mean, you know,
I don't like Notre Dame. That's why I don't know how to pronounce other players.
Hey, like you said, he's got the Troy Polamalu hair. So if you can channel the spirit of Polamalu,
that's what I'm saying. That's your mind.
I'm all for that. If he can even be like, you know, 60% of Polamalu, we'd probably have ourselves a hell of a player right there. But
yeah,
you know, it's just, you know, again, like I said, I'm going to be pumped for the season. I'm going to be excited. I've got, you know, optimism. I just have my question marks about this team. And those question marks for me won't be answered until we see this team on the field. I'd like to be the guy that's, you know, overly optimistic and says, hey, offensive line's going to work out. Running back's going to work out. Defensive tackle's going to work out. Linebackers are going to work out. But I mean, you've got a lot of what ifs in every one of those scenarios. You have what ifs. And I think for all of those what ifs, to go the Cowboys way, just from what I've seen of this Cowboys team in the past, that's not true to nature. That's not what we've seen in the past. It's typically if the Cowboys neglect a position or several positions, that usually comes back to bite them in the ass. We didn't address the running back position last year. It bit us in the ass, right? I mean, what did we rush for, like 25 yards in that Green Bay game? It was terrible. And we didn't, you know, we tried to draft a defensive tackle and we went that way in the draft, and, you know, we were already weak up the middle, and then we let Hankins go. And, you know, this year, so I don't know, man. Like I said, it's just a lot of what ifs, but it's still a good Cowboys team. I'm not sitting here saying we're going to be a terrible team. They'll still be a good team. I just think that there's a lot of question marks on this team, and so it would be, a little, foolhardy on anyone's part to say, hey, we're not going to have any issues at any one of those positions. There's going to be one of those positions that's going to come back to bite the Cowboys sooner or later. So, the positive thing though is that we're going into training camp. There's going to be cuts from other rosters, and we've seen it every year. It never fails. There's a guy on one team, doesn't make it, ends up being a playmaker, an impact player on somebody else's roster. So if the Cowboys can get lucky like that, I honestly do think that we may pick up a running back. I think it's possible we may pick up a DT. They're going to know pretty soon, once they put the pads on and start practicing, they're going to know where their weak spots are at. They're going to know, hey, we didn't do enough to address this, but it just leaves a sour taste in your mouth when you've got the Micah and the Micah Parsons, you've got the CD, and you've got the Dak thing, all just kind of hanging out there, and none of them have been signed. I saw Louis Riddick, he was talking today, and he was talking about the fact that when the Cowboys, Jerry Jones said he's all in and then does nothing. He goes, when he said he's all in, he goes, I'm thinking he's going to lock up his key players. He's going to lock up Dak Prescott, locking up CeeDee Lamb, probably going to try to get a deal done for Micah. And he goes, and none of the three are signed. So where exactly is this going? And that's kind of just what leaves kind of a sour taste in my mouth to start this training camp.
No, and I get it. And it's, the thing I was reading, and I'm not in defense of Jones, please don't take it that way. Parsons can be done next year, but I mean, they're asking to sign three, guys that are going to break the bank at each position, right? They're resetting the market probably at each one. And I mean, that's a lot to undertake. And with that, like someone had mentioned, wherever I read it, you got 50 other guys. So it is going to be tricky for them, but they could have got it done. And I think where I blame them is they could have, unless CD didn't want to, unless Dak didn't want to, if they wanted to redo them, maybe they try to do it a year earlier, maybe, and spread the money around a little bit and eat up stuff. So I don't know, but we'll see what happens. Like I said, I'm not worried about Dak. He's there. He don't have an issue with it. I don't have an issue with it. Parsons there. He's really not due if he wants to really. He's got a couple years left with it. So he's really another year away. So I'm not worried about him. CD's the one, like I said, that I wish they'd get something going. I saw Steven kind of stole my thunder because I said, you're going to find out quickly on this team because the Browns got a defense. I don't think their offense is going to be much to worry about personally. So it may not be a great test for our defense because Chubb's probably not going to play. Watson is obviously they got Coop, but I don't know how much of a challenge they're going to put up on our defense. But Saints don't sleep on. Kamara's still a guy that can be dangerous, and he can exploit a bad run defense. So we're going to find out real quick about our run defense. And then the tailgate party. Thankfully for the Cowboys, you and I are going to be there because we don't walk out disappointed for the most part, but they're going to have their hands full. We're going to find out about that defense and the run defense real fast against Baltimore.
With a guy named Derrick Henry coming to town.
Yeah.
Definitely will be tested early. I just wanted to answer a question that was in the chat. Cowboy Up podcast asked which one of the rookies were we most excited to see in training camp. For me, it's our number one pick. It's our left tackle. I think he's the most crucial pick that we have, and he's going to play the most crucial part on that offensive line. Your most important position is the left tackle position, and the fact that we got a rookie who is going to start, for me, is who I'm most anxious to see just because, he's going to be the most pivotal point on that offensive line. If you've got we've seen what's happened in the past. If you don't have a solid left tackle when Tyron Smith has gone down, we've seen how quickly things can collapse for a team if you don't have somebody protecting your quarterback. So for me, it's going to be Guyton. I don't know about you, Mike, but that's
for me, Guyton is obviously important because, like you said, Nealon's another one. Only because, like you talked about, our defensive line, we need somebody's more than one to step up. And we've been talking about Sam Williams for a couple of years now. It's put up or shut up time for him. Obviously Mikey, we don't worry about. Tank's going to be, he's always going to be him, but we need pass rushers opposite, right? So That's the one I'm looking at. And then really, I saw the camp battles and wide receiver, Flournoy, we had his trainer on our show a couple weeks ago, and I didn't know a lot about him, but very high on him, his work ethic, his energy, where he came from, his upbringing. He's going to be a guy there that's going to go after a spot. He wants a roster spot. He's going to fight for it. Is Jalen Tolbert going to live up to the billing of being that draft pick, a third-round pick that you'd expect to be able to be a good contributor with the team? He wasn't bad last year. He got limited opportunities. He made the most of what he could, but he didn't take it. You want someone to take something. I don't care that Brandon Cooks is there. You want to take them reps. You want to take something. And who's going to do that at the receiver spot? I definitely think that's going to be something interesting to watch. And I think the center position, Rick, great point again. A lot of people are giving BB the just go ahead and put him in there. I think Hoffman's going to have something to say about it. I don't think he's just going to roll over and give it to him. So it's going to be interesting. Some of the news with Chuma, being penciled as a starting left tackle, and there's going to be a lot of panic and a lot of concern. Guyton's not ready. I think it's going to be a process. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if you see Chuma out there at left tackle the first game of the season. It's not going to make me think that Guyton's not the man. I think it's going to be a process for this team. To your point of not being optimistic, they may get off to a little rough start. They may start off 1-2. They may start off 2-2. They may start off 2-3 or whatever it is. I think this team, the way they're set up, could get better as the year goes on, and that's what you want, right? That offensive line gelling together, the defensive line gelling together. That's where my eyes are going to be, is the offensive and defensive line. And if they can get their stuff going and become a formidable force, then we make that stretch run. And I think that's where maybe we'll be 10-7 and people will be upset, but we fight our way in the playoffs and maybe get hot at the right time.
Well, I'll tell you what, we've talked a lot about how the running back room is leaves a lot to be desired. I'll say, I think obviously we're a lot better at receiver because I think we have one of the top, in my opinion, one of the top 3 receivers in the league, however you want to slice that. I mean, for me, I put CD at number 1. I know a lot of people say I'm biased, and that's true. I am biased. Absolutely. But I've got CD as number 1. But I just want to read something real quick that I saw today I thought was very interesting. But when you're looking at the wide receiver room right now with CD Lamb holding out, here's what we got on the field. We got Brandon Cooks, who we all know he's got 9,273 career reception yards. After him, it gets very scarce. You're talking about Jalen Tolbert with 280 career receiving yards. You got Kevontae Turpin with 136 career yards. You got Jalen Brooks with 64 career receiving yards. You got Ryan Flournoy, who's a rookie, and Racey McMath, 48 career receiving yards. So between 5 receivers after Brandon Cooks, you don't even have 500 receiving yards between the rest of your guys' career. I mean, so there is definitely an opportunity for some of these guys to shine. But I would not be surprised, if the Cowboys maybe are looking to add another wide receiver to this group before the season begins, because I don't know how comfortable they're going to feel outside of Cooks and Lamb, with these guys out there. Now, obviously, some of these guys could pull up. You got a guy like Tolbert who flashed last season, who could come and snag the reins. Well, I'm sure the Cowboys are hoping he is. I'm sure he'll get every opportunity to do so. You've got Kevontae Turpin, who's been kind of a little bit of a sneaky, gadget guy who's shown the ability to get deep and get behind the defense. So maybe he'll get some more opportunities. But you just don't have a lot of experience in that group outside of Lamb and Cooks. So, that's something also to pay attention to. In my opinion, that's going to be one of the key battles to watch while CeeDee Lamb holds out. Is who shines out of that wide receiver group. Because I think what you're going to get out of Brandon Cooks, but it's the other guys. Who's going to grab the reins? Who's going to be that number 3 wide receiver for us? And who's going to be the number 4 for that matter? Because like I said, I mean, you may get a guy like, Tolbert who snags that number 3 spot, goes out there and shines, but then some of those other guys may struggle, and the Cowboys may be looking to go, outside of that wide receiver room to get a guy that, another depth guy. Because you always need, you're always going to need more than just 3 wide receivers. It's a long season. You're going to get other guys involved and stuff. So for me, that's one of the battles that I'll definitely be watching is that wide receiver battle early on while CeeDee Lamb's holding out.
Yeah. And you can get some guys to step up. I mean, Tank Dell, I watched him light up, USF back in the, in college. He came in and he was an instant impact guy. The receivers are more seasoned. They're better prepared for the NFL. It's not like, years past where, it's this whole transition that they got to have. I think but someone's got to want it, right? It's like what, that Eugene Lockhart, you heard that if you watch that intro of the show, it's, you want it, you got to take it, right? Nothing's handed to you. There's going to be no gifts here. Somebody's got to step up and say, you know what? That's going to be my job. You come get it from me. And that's got to be the mentality. And I think when you get these guys competing against each other, that's why we didn't even get into Trey Lance yet, but that's why I think you need to have competition. I hope Trey Lance lights it up in training camp and in preseason, because that's going to make Dak Prescott better. It's going to make the team better. You want, the rookies to step up, all the young guys that we drafted, the cornerbacks, the D lines, every level of the defense that we got, the linebackers. You want them to come in with some attitude and to step it up. It ain't the old way where, you guys just sit on the sidelines. Tom Landry used to do that. Never would start rookies. He didn't even start Tony Dorsett. Tony Dorsett was seen sparingly, and they finally, like, either the coaches or someone said, hey, dude, you got like the best player on your team sitting on the bench, your best offensive weapon. Let's go ahead and get him started. And oh, by the way, they go win a Super Bowl. You know what I mean? It's like, these guys are, they got to want it. Just because you're a rookie don't mean it's, you get a pass. That's why we were disappointed in Mozzie, and we expect Mozzie to step it up. You heard some of his talk, and you hear what, and you think what he can do with Zimmer and in that defense, man. These guys got to want it, man. To me, it ain't never about talent with this team. It's about want, desire, and in their heads being the best and having that confidence and not getting pushed around. It's all mental with this team. It's not talent.
Yeah, no, I agree with that 100%. So there's a couple questions, a couple things in the chat. I saw Star We Are was asking if we think Rico Dowdle is going to be the guy that shines in camp. I hope so. I don't know. We were talking about it earlier. That's one of the positions that me and Mike both agree is pretty weak. I don't know who's going to grab the reins there, and that's going to be that'll be another interesting position battle to watch. Is the running back position, to see who takes the reins as the number one. How they're going to do that? Because I don't really know how they have them listed right now.
Yeah, Rico's been here a while. I don't think we're going to see anything different. He's hurt. Does that continue? Can he stay healthy? The running back, if they're going to be successful, two things are it's going to have to be two things. Either they go out and get another running back, like you said, right? They go get somebody to be the dog, or it's going to be running back by total committee. And that's going to be just guys sharing carries. Zeke's going to be your short yardage goal line guy. Rico's going to get his carries. You're going to sprinkle in some Deuce Vaughn and maybe some Lipke, something like that. You're going to have no 1,000-yard rusher, and that's not a bad. That's not terrible. As long as they're running effectively as a unit, you can live with it. That's the thing. Can they run effectively as a unit? It's not going to be they're not lighting up the stat sheet.
Yeah, and I agree with that 100%. And I thought, just now when I'm looking at, cuts, he had the question. He said Lance is going to, he says that he's going to have plenty of chances to play. I was going to ask you, Mike, about a question on that and ask you what you think. I know what we have in Cooper Rush. I think the Cowboys know what they have in Cooper Rush. I think it's important to get reps in training camp. But if you're Jerry Jones, do you give Trey Lance the majority of the number one reps in preseason? Like, is he your starter for both of those preseason? You got 2 preseason games. Do you start him multiple quarters in both games? Because if it's me, I am. I damn near play him the entire last game. That entire last preseason game, I'd probably let him play the entire game. Because I think you know what you got in Cooper Rush, and you know what you got in Dak Prescott. I mean, what do you think about that? How much time do you think Trey Lance gets in these 2 preseason games?
I'd play him the whole game. I'd play.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even.
agree.
Cooper Rush to me.
I agree.
I don't even know if you have him on the team. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just think that it's, you know, you know what you got with Cooper. Put it this way: if God forbid Dak got hurt for the season, who do you want in? Like, I'm going to take Trey Lance because there's upside there. Cooper Rush is what he is, and he's been here a while, and yada. And if you're keeping 3 quarterbacks, then obviously, keep Cooper Rush. But Trey Lance has got to be your 2. If he ain't at least your 2, then you traded. You traded your draft pick was a 4th round pick, and you're paying him, pretty decent.
Makes no sense, right?
He's getting paid for number 3 pick. He's getting paid good money. If he can't even be your 2, then this organization that would be one of the worst trades I ever seen. I mean,
it's a bad deal.
Yeah, he's got to be the guy, and I would play him, and I would play him both. They play 2 or 3 games. Is it 2?
2 this year? Just 2.
Okay, I'd play him those games, and that's it, man.
Yeah. That's what I was. That's what I was thinking just now. You know what? Huh?
I thought they had 2 road and 1 home.
I thought it was just 3. I thought it was the Rams.
No, they're playing like the Chargers, the Raiders, and help me out. It's all West Coast teams.
It's all in LA, I think. LA and
they're playing the Chargers.
Chargers and Rams.
No, they play the Raiders too. They're playing at Vegas.
Oh, are they?
Yeah.
Then maybe they are playing 3. For some reason I thought they were only playing 2.
No,
they are. Yeah, Rams, Raiders, and Chargers.
Yeah, I'd play them all 3. I'd play them all 3.
Well, then, I'd play Lance all 3 games, and he'd get 16 quarters. That's what I'm giving him. I'm starting him every single game, all 4 quarters. And I mean, again, I know what I have in Cooper Rush. I don't need to see it. I've already seen him in regular season. I'm letting Lance start every damn quarter of the preseason and see what I got.
Yeah, no doubt
if nothing else, you get a call from a team that's quarterback needy, their quarterback gets hurt, something happens, goes down, and they offer you a 4, and you can recoup that 4th pick that you got for him. So if nothing else, at least you're showcasing a guy's talents that maybe you can recoup that 4th round pick back, because right now, as the way that it looks, it doesn't look like Trey Lance has a future in Dallas. If you believe what the Joneses are saying, that they really do want to get a deal done with Dak Prescott, then Trey Lance doesn't have a future in Dallas. So if that's the case, why not showcase this guy right now in the preseason and get him all the reps you can, and so other teams can get a look at him and figure out if you can recoup that 4th round pick? Because I'm still pissed about losing that 4th round pick, because if we got a 4th round pick this year, I think we got a running back on this roster that we all feel a whole lot better about, that we would have been able to draft in the 4th round. So, hopefully we can.
No doubt about it. Now, here's the interesting question: is if Trey Lance, lights it up. Now he should, right? If he's a third. Now granted he's playing with backups and that, but he's playing against backups because a lot of guys aren't going to be playing in preseason.
Yeah.
But if he lights it up, what do you think the Joneses, and let's say Dak's not signed, do you think the Joneses are kind of like, we're gonna really just see how this thing plays out before we do anything? As a fan, would you be like, because there's going to be a portion of the fan base, no one loves the backup more than the fans, right?
That's true.
And
That's true.
If he has a good, dude, he's playing like a 3rd overall pick should. What do you think the temperature in Dallas is going to be?
Well, first of all, I think that 2 things. One, I think it's a good thing for the organization if he comes out and really shines. 2, I think it's a bad thing for Dak Prescott, because the fans are going to eat his ass alive, because you're going to hear chants for Lance to start over Prescott if that happens, just because
one interception is all it takes.
That's all it takes, or one bad loss. You know what I mean? One bad loss to where, we lose to I'm not going to say the Ravens, because we're going to be there. That's not going to happen. We're not losing.
Or let's say you lose to the Saints at home in your home opener.
Let's say you lose to the Saints. Let's say the Saints come in there and thump you, and Dak has a bad game and throws a couple of picks. I just think that I hope that, but I'm with you, man. I hope that Lance lights it up in the preseason. I do. I hope he goes out there and I hope he lights it up, and I hope there is some pressure on Dak Prescott, and I hope Dak, does have a fire lit under his ass. I think he does already, honestly, but I'm thinking that would, that would heat that flame a little bit more. Get it a little bit closer to that molten hot magma that heat that we want to have under Dak's ass. So, I mean, I think it's a good thing. I hope Trey Lance does really, really well in the preseason, but damn well he does. I mean, the circus in Dallas, boy, that's just it's gonna amplify things. It'll amplify everything, because you're right. The backup's always the most popular position, but definitely in Dallas, if the starting quarterback is in question at all, and they think that people were questioning Emmitt Smith. If that gives you any indication of how rabid this Cowboys fan nation can be when it comes to, guys that are sitting behind another guy, they're like, he's better. Got to start him. He's got to start. Troy Hambrick sure didn't look so hot after Emmitt Smith left. I'll tell you that much.
No, those are tough times. I mean, but Troy Aikman he talked about it one time. You find an old, I mean, they were booing him. Now, it was near the latter part of his career, but I mean, they were booing him at Texas Stadium, in the game. I mean, it happens to, I mean, not many get the storybook ending like a John Elway, like a Peyton Manning. It's very rare at any level of Ray Lewis. Very few guys really get to go out that way. I mean, more often than not, Jerry Rice goes down as, the greatest. If not, he's like one or two. And people forget he ended his career in Denver, not in Seattle. He played a little in Seattle. He ended his career in Denver. He couldn't even be the fourth receiver. And Mike Shanahan, pretty sure he was the coach at the time, just kind of said, look, man, I'm not going to embarrass you. I'm not going to do any of that. Why don't you, just retire. I'm not going to cut you or anything like that. So, I mean, it usually for these guys, there's, the fans will turn, and it just doesn't usually end the way that you'd always like, but they want to play as much as they can. But it's going to be interesting to see the Trey Lance, Dak Prescott kind of thing play out. And Trey Lance has said everything great about Dak, and Dak is, I think they like each other. I think they're great teammates, but Steve Young and Montana, I'm not comparing the talent, so don't start yelling at me, but quarterbacks, typically when you have two guys who really believe they're the starter, it's not, Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers and Jordan Love. I mean, you get all these comparisons of these quarterbacks with that. It's usually not the friendliest relationship when it all comes down to it.
Yeah. No, yeah, I agree. And I started laughing. I'm laughing over here. I said, reading the comments in the chat, and Ethan sit there, said he was only 3 when the Cowboys won their last Super Bowl. Says trying to experience the glory days. He said, give me a little glory hole. Listen, the Cowboys may give you some glory hole. You just may not like what's coming through that glory hole, because it be careful what you wish for, Ethan. Be careful what you wish for. It may not be a Lombardi trophy coming through the side of that glory.
They might be sticking it in the hole you don't want them to stick it in.
That's right. Last year, careful what you wish for there. But yeah, no, and I just and I was gonna ask you. So I saw something today. And it was on Twitter, and they were talking about, and I saw this because somebody in the chat here just mentioned about Michael Gallup, that he retired today. When the Cowboys decided to move on from Amari Cooper and trade him, and they signed Gallup to that 2-year deal, and they gave Gallup basically the deal that they gave Gallup. Was that will that go down in your opinion? Because in mine, it's up there. Will that go down as probably one of the worst moves that the Joneses have made in recent history, is getting rid of Amari Cooper for a 5th round draft pick and deciding that instead of keeping him and CD together, they decided that it was going to be, CD and Michael Gallup basically were going to be the core of that team for the wide receiver group. Is that one of the worst moves that the Cowboys have made in recent history?
Yeah, I mean, it was the most puzzling move, and a lot. I remember even my mind was, why, but then it's like I think during that season past, like Cooper just for some reason, like the home games, he would just never either that or the road games. It was one or the other. Help me out.
Road games, he kind of
he just would. It's like it was a totally different player. And I remember in a playoff game, he kind of walked off the field like they didn't even have him in. Like and I just think to myself, like, what would Michael Irvin do? And I find it very hard to think that Michael Irvin would have just walked off the sideline and on a 3rd down or 4th down, whatever it was a game deciding play. And not demand the ball and not only demand to be in there. So I like Cooper. I just think he was a little quiet and I just never saw him.
That's what I was going to say. Very, very quiet and subdued guy. But I mean,
dumb trade. Yes, no doubt about it. Dumb trade.
Yeah, dumb trade. And it just, I would have loved to see what could have been if we would have kept CeeDee Lamb, because CeeDee Lamb just was continuing his maturation process to what he is now, and you saw the kind of season Amari Cooper had last year in Cleveland, and you just think, I mean, he's still a very highly productive receiver in the league, and you think if you had those two together, Lamb and Cooper, I mean, wow, I mean, you talk about a 1-2 punch. I mean, that in my opinion, that's you're talking about one of the best wide receiver duos in the league. If you keep those two together, and instead you get rid of him for a 5th round pick, and then you see I can't remember the trade that went down not too long after that. There was another wide receiver that was not of Cooper's caliber, got traded for a 3rd round pick. Yeah, and they got a 3rd for him, and you're sitting there going, "What the hell?" I mean, we're giving Amari away for a 5th round pick. I mean, we gave a 1st to get him, and we give him away for a 5th. Still to this day, it makes absolute no sense. I have no idea what they're thinking on that, but just while we're on that topic,
and just to say, like Gallup, great memories with Gallup as far as I was going to say, no touch and just everything. I think the craziest thing, and I don't know if someone was on Twitter bullshitting, I don't know if it's true or not, but that trio never really played together. The trio you thought of Gallup, Cooper, and CD never really played together, all 3 together, because either Gallup was hurt or this or that, or, whatever it was. They had a very limited, maybe a couple games where all 3 of them were there.
Yeah. I don't think that they did. I think Gallup had an injury. And so, I don't think that they did.
Yeah. I mean, that's just surprising, because you looked at that receiving core and I was always like, man, you couldn't ask for a better receiving core. We talk about our receiving core now, and I mean, we feel good with obviously Brandon Cooks. We feel great with CeeDee Lamb, but it's always what's after that. And what I would say, which is important, and I can't believe we went, most of the show and didn't even bring the name up, is Ferguson. I mean, you're talking about a guy that's just on the edge of just blowing up in the NFL and just being one of the most dominant tight ends, out there. So when you talk about, our 3rd isn't great or our 4th isn't great, don't forget, I mean, Jake Ferguson's there. So, I mean, that's like having another number 1 or 2 or something, everywhere you want to put him. So I think, and I mean, Schoonmaker, he's definitely got to earn that 2nd round pick, and we'll see what happens with him. And you got Hendershot, but I mean, Jake Ferguson should be. I mean, I went out and got a damn Jake Ferguson jersey. That's how much I believe in him.
Yeah, no, he's going to be on question number 1. I saw, there was a list not too long ago, and they actually had Jake Ferguson outside the top 10, which really, really aggravated me. I was like, I don't know how in the hell anybody watched football last year and think that he's not inside that top 10, if not, in my opinion, going into this season. I said at the end of the season, he'll be a top 5 tight end of the league. He'll be top 5. And I stand by that. I believe in that. I think that, I think Travis Kelce and George Kittle, I think, are still your top 2. I think Hawkinson is still obviously a great tight end. But I mean, I think Ferguson's right up there with those guys. I mean, honestly, at this point right now, I don't know that I really don't know outside of Kelce and Kittle. I don't know that there's any other tight ends I would take. I love Ferguson's upside. I think he's big, he's athletic, he's nasty. I think he's everything that you need. He's everything that you need in a tight end. And so I'm I'm all for him this year. I'm super excited about him, and I think he's gonna take the league by storm this year. I think he's gonna have a great season. So I'm looking forward to it.
I know there was a question about did Ferguson show up in the playoffs. He was like the only guy to show up in the playoffs. How's that?
Absolutely, yeah. As far as everybody goes, yeah.
He's the only one who got the memo that there was a playoff game that day. So he was the only guy who had any life in that game, obviously, until it was out of control. But yeah, I don't worry about him and what I think he could do. It's like when I said earlier, you need those guys that can kind of be the glue to that, to the locker room, and he's to me, he's one of those guys. He's one of those guys, be a vocal leader and all that. So
he had 12 targets, 10 receptions, 93 yards, and 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, he was the only thing.
Is that good? I think that's pretty damn good.
Yeah.
So yeah, he was a monster in the. I mean, he's a monster in the playoffs. Period. But
he showed emotion, right? The emotion. Yeah,
the Seattle game. The Seattle game, he makes that big play and he gets hit hard, bounces right back up, and is right in the face of Jamal Adams, right in his face, pointing the first down, and then literally the very next play cooked his ass for a touchdown, and then just spiked the ball. He's got a nasty streak in him. He's definitely that guy. He is that guy. And and that was what last year was year number 2 for Jake Ferguson. This year's number 3 for Jake Ferguson. So I just the maturation process, the growth, the chemistry with Dak Prescott absolutely is there. So he's going to be a guy that I think is going to be a security blanket for Dak Prescott in a lot of ways, similar to how Jason Witten was with Tony Romo, obviously in a little bit different style of tight end. Jason was a little bit more of a possession guy. He wasn't never a guy that was to take the top off of defense. Jake Ferguson, sneaky. He can get behind the defense. He can get behind you and make those big plays. So
and he wants to hurt you.
And he does. He's physical to the point of contact where he is. I mean, there's a lot of people that last year started calling him Baby Kelsey, and Travis Kelsey himself made the comparison and said that he was going to be, said that in terms of another tight end that he thought was similar to him, he said Jake Ferguson. So I mean, that's pretty high praise right there when you're talking about one of, if not the best tight end of the league. Giving you that high praise. So.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And, my luck with jerseys, like when I buy a guy's jersey, it's usually, pretty damn good. I made one mistake and it was on sale. So I should have known better when they discount them jerseys was Jalen Smith. Jalen was my one mistake. Now he's 54 and I was hoping I could kind of get Williams put on there. If Sam Williams would do something, then I'd like, all right, I'll right the wrong. But for the most part, I've batted, probably 900, maybe 950 so far with jerseys of guys at least are impact guys that are going to, that are going to at least live up to the jersey to where it lasts for a while. Got some wear in it, right? The Jalen Smith jersey, I shit you not, I don't think I ever wore it. I don't think it ever left the closet. So.
Well, that's I definitely it's probably I think my worst jersey purchase was the DeMarco Murray. I got that jersey, played for the Cowboys that one last year, and then bounced for Philly the next year. I had to take that jersey and dispose of it as quickly as I could because it wasn't gonna grace the 4 walls that I lived within. It wasn't a chance of that. So that's probably the worst jersey purchase that I got. But if there was any sweet redemption in that, it's that he went over to Philly and just laid an absolute turd.
Yeah, he stole some money.
He sucked. He got paid and didn't do anything. So yeah.
Would you so let's talk about jersey. Would you guys in the chat, if you guys remember these guys, throw it out there. I got so let me run down some of the questionable jerseys. You tell me if I got the W or the L. So Antonio Bryant. I had an Antonio Bryant jersey. He was solid with Dallas. He threw the towel at Bill Parcells. That led to his demise. Very productive when he left Dallas. He was pretty productive receiver for the Cowboys. Was that an L on that one, or because I could turn it into Dez Bryant? Does that kind of make up for it, or what? What do you think?
Yeah, man, I don't know. I mean, at least it was an 88. I mean, you just have to put some duct tape over that.
But it was beautiful because it was Bryant. It didn't even say it was Bryant.
That's true. Dez Bryant and Antonio Bryant. So, yeah, I guess that's a win. I'd say that's a win.
So then these two running backs, I'll give you 3 running backs. So, and I know one of them's a wins, but I'm going to throw it out there anyway. Julius Jones, I had Felix Jones, and I had Marion Barber.
Marion Barber's a win regardless.
That one I knew was a win.
That's a win.
The other two, flashes. Julius Jones had some success and had some games, but
Julius Jones had some big games. The most memorable game I have of Julius Jones is the game that they played in Seattle. And it was a regular season game, but Julius Jones went off that game. I think he rushed for like 200 something yards.
Mm-hmm.
We came back, actually got an onside kick, and ended up winning that game on the back of Julius Jones in that game. That was one of my most memorable games that he played was there in Seattle on the road. We're down, we're trailing. And I remember I thought we were going to lose that game. I was at my buddy's house, literally left his house to walk across the street. And we end up scoring a touchdown, getting an onside, and then, go down the field, we win it. So, but yeah, Julius Jones did have some flashes. I'd say Felix Jones was probably one of those ones that may be that may have been an L type jersey. You know what I mean? Because you only really got to do that for 1 year.
Too.
Yeah, and you got to wear that because I mean he had those. He'd have some runs where he just busted off those long runs. Almost reminded me of the situation that we had last year with Zeke and Pollard, or the year before with Zeke and Pollard, where Pollard was that home run hitter. Felix Jones was that way. You know what I mean? It was Marion Barber and Felix Jones was right behind him, and he'd get those home run hits.
I want to say his rookie year, I think he averaged like 6 or 7 yards a carry. He was unbelievable yards per carry.
No, he had some long touchdown runs, some big plays.
Now is this worse than any of mine? I know you're going to agree. It's got to be.
Yeah. Well, not only because it's Roy Williams, but I mean the dude was a Texas Longhorn. So I mean, any chance I get to throw the FU out there to the Texas Longhorns, I'm going to do that. Horns down for all the Longhorns.
Right, and this is in my family. You tell me, I got, and maybe I have to take the L on it, but I did not buy this for this person. This person asked his grandmother, she said, "What Cowboy jersey do you want?" And he requested a Boss Man Fat jersey. And that's what he got for Christmas. And I didn't know she got it for him. And he'll swear to you, if you ever talk to him, ask him the look on my face when he opened that up. He got it. And it wasn't a cheap one. It was a custom sewn jersey. It was a nice jersey. Yeah.
Yikes. Yeah. Yikes. That yeah. I mean, his playing career went about as well as his rap career.
Ultra, I got more. Yeah, Morris Claiborne. Now I got sucked into the Morris Claiborne. I had got Claiborne shirts where they so I got, and I think I had a jersey at Claiborne. That was another, just a really bad miss when it came to jerseys. So, but
yeah, Morris Claiborne, that was terrible. Morris Claiborne, the Roy Williams though, that was probably one of the worst trades. I know a lot of people will go back to the Rocket Ishmael. I think was it Rocket Ishmael that we traded, and then he got injured pretty much like almost right off the bat, and never. So him and Roy Williams, as far as trades go, those were both terrible because I mean,
Rocket had some years with Dallas. Rocket was okay.
Yeah,
he was okay. Roy Williams, we gave up 2. Didn't we give up 2 ones for him?
I think we gave up 2 ones.
Joey Galloway, you're thinking of? We gave up. That's the one.
Was it Joey Galloway? Okay, Joey Galloway. Yeah. That's the one. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Joey Galloway. Yeah. He had the injury, and we traded. I don't remember what we gave up for him, but he was.
We gave up 2 ones for Joey Galloway. That's when they were trying to save. They were trying to save Troy
Williams as well.
Pardon me?
Was it 2 ones for Roy Williams as well?
I believe so. Help me out. But I know Galloway was 2-1s. They were trying to do whatever they could to get Aikman some. He was at the back of his career, and they tried to. They got desperate, and Roy and Galloway. Yeah, like you said, he blew his knee out. I think the first play. Roy Williams caught one touchdown, and my son and I were at the game. It was against Tampa, and I was like, it was his first game. I think it was the first game, and I was like, oh man, we got it. But then all I remember is the Saints game with him, and we win the game. It's over. It's all, fall down, kick the whatever. And he fumbled without even being touched. And they got the ball and we lost the game. I don't know if you remember that Roy Williams play. If you guys correct me if I'm wrong, if I got it wrong, but it was against the Saints and he fumbled the ball. I don't think anyone touched him. He was running to the house and fumbled it. So
yeah, it was 2 first.
Roy was a 1, a 3, and a 6.
It's 1, 3, and a 6. Yeah, I just looked that up, and it was for first round draft choices for 2000 and 2001. So we gave up 2 first for Joey Galloway. Either way you look at it, those were both terrible trades.
Terrible.
In terms of what we got back. And what was funny was I remember when we're getting Roy Williams, because he did some decent things we did some decent things with Detroit. So you're sitting there thinking, okay, maybe we got ourselves a guy here. Oh God, he quickly disappointed. How quickly that's faded. But yeah, so there have been some pretty bad it's like I said though, as far as the jersey things though, I really think the only one that I ever really got, bad was, like I said, was that DeMarco Murray one. Other than that, no, it wasn't terrible. But other than that, I mean, I've pretty much had good luck. My whole thing was that not so much that they were bad players. It was just that I would get it, and then the player would either get released, like Murray, we didn't re-sign him, or he would get injured. I got the LVE jersey, and I got that. But that one I got some good use out of. I got that for about 2 years. But I've just kind of had a thing. Dez Bryant, I got the Dez Bryant jersey, and I got it late. I should have jumped on that a whole lot earlier, but I got that probably about 2 years before he ended up, bouncing. So yeah, I've had some bad luck getting these jerseys and only to get a year or 2 out of them. I want to get one of these jerseys where I can wear it for several years, and get several years out of it. So, but yeah,
what I do now is I'm like, I think I got it over here. If it's there, I'm like, these new guys, I'm not buying these new guys no more. So I went out and I got this thing, and it costs the same. And I just got me I can get a custom. Can't go wrong with Gogan. You can't go wrong with maybe a Teague. You can't go wrong with a Eugene or, so but I did get a Ferguson. I had to do that. And I wanted to give credit because I know my man Ultra, who we love, and he's strong with his words. But the thing I've always said about him, if he's wrong, if he makes a mistake, he's the first one to own up to it and acknowledge it. He was hating on Jake, if you remember. And he definitely proved him wrong, and he's buying his jersey. So that's the thing. And that, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, if you're critical on a guy, that doesn't make you less of a fan. We're all passionate fans. We all want, at the end of the day, if you're a Cowboys fan or if you're a fan of any team, you just want your team to win a Super Bowl, or you want them to win a championship, if it's a different sport, whatever it is. And sometimes some tough love is needed. We can't be loving on everybody, so that, and like I said, it doesn't make you a bad fan. That's why the people who hate on Dak, I don't think they're terrible Cowboy fans, because I think at the end of the day, they get behind them, right? Yeah. Because they want the team to win. But I just wish that they would admit if and when he's proven wrong that, hey man, I made a mistake and I got to own up to it. So, yeah. So anyway, who wins the NFC East? I know, Carl, you want me to say the Eagles. I think it's going to be the Eagles or Dallas. I think it's going to be probably maybe come down to the wire. I think Cowboys are going to win, but it's going to be close. To be honest with you, me as a fan, sometimes I want Dallas to go in the playoffs. Maybe being that wild card team that's got to fight. Maybe they need that more. Yeah. Maybe being, the second seed or being the darlings of the conference isn't good for them. It's like, you look at it right now, as much as people are hating on the Cowboys, they are still the third favorite to go to the Super Bowl in the NFC behind San Francisco and Detroit. So we can all shit on them and we could say they lost all these guys, but Vegas still thinks they're going to win the East, and Vegas still thinks they're the third best team in the NFC East, which I think if we're asking ourselves, today, who are you putting against them? I mean, you said all the bad things about, not bad, but just, concerns you have of the Cowboys. Who do you put ahead of them, but, outside of Detroit and San Francisco?
Yeah, again, I think it'll be between Dallas and Philly as well. I'm giving Dallas the edge because I think that I think Jalen Hurts is going to struggle in Kellen Moore's scheme. I think Kellen Moore is a bad offensive coordinator. I really do.
That's where they're going to get hurt. I think coordinators.
Yeah,
I think that's the killer.
Yep, and I do, and I think that I think that Kellen Moore, I feel like, looked so much better as an offensive coordinator because I think Dak Prescott and the talent around him made him look better. Because I don't think it was Kellen Moore. I don't think it was his scheme. I think you started to see that scheme wear very thin towards the end. Some of the questionable play calls and questionable moments and big moments. I mean, the last call in that San Francisco game, Zeke lining up at center, that's a Kellen Moore. That's a Kellen Moore special right there.
Yeah. Get used to it, Philly. You're going to see a lot of it.
And I think that I just don't think that the type of game plan that he draws, I do not think it benefits Hurts' skill set. And I think he's going to struggle, and I think he's going to have another season riddled with interceptions, honestly. And I'm not saying that just because I'm an Eagle hater. I say that because I don't think Kellen Moore's a good offensive coordinator. If he was as good of an offensive coordinator as people were making him out to be before he left Dallas, I mean, don't you think the Chargers would have held on to him? They got a young quarterback in Herbert. I think they would have wanted to hold on to him and have him stick around and continue to work and say, hey, you know what? We saw the work you did with Dak Prescott. We think you can do the same with him. But no, they were fine to let him go. They're like, hey, let's push him on down the road. And I think the Eagles
got zero head coach. I mean, how many times he's had an offense in Dallas a lot of years, and he got no head coaching opportunity. Look at the head coaches that get hired. 90% of them are offensive coordinators.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. And before he left Dallas, that the first time around when Dak had that really good season, he did get some head coaching looks. They were looking at him. And even the second go around, he got a little bit more looks, but he decided, you know what, I'm going to take this offensive coordinator.
Yeah, he got looks, but no one offered him anything.
No one offered him a job. And then after the Chargers debacle, because they didn't have a great season, their offense looked pretty damn shitty. No offers, none. All he got was a call. He got a call from the Eagles, and he pounced on it. And I'm going to be honest. Thank you, Philly, for taking Kellen Moore, because I do think that's going to be their downfall this year. I think Kellen Moore is going to be a guy that at the end of the year, Eagles fans are going to be cussing him similar to the way that we were cussing him. So good luck with that.
Eagles insiders tell me that that Sirianni did not want Kellen Moore. That was a Howie decision. So.
Yeah,
that'll make great. That'll make it great on the sidelines and in the locker rooms of finger pointing if things go south in any game. So
exactly.
It's going to be yeah. And Derek Quinn Derek Quinn even got a job after getting embarrassed and exposed against Green Bay. So it's going to be interesting. But again, Vegas has Dallas third. And they think of the honeymoon teams that, Green Bay. Why wouldn't Green Bay be ahead of that? I mean, they smoked them in a play. They should be ahead of them. Philly made all these great moves. They should be ahead of them, right? They got some washed up running back. They went ahead, so they got to be great, right? They did all that stuff. So what's going on? Atlanta made some moves. They got Kirk Cousins. They got the receivers. They got the tight end. Why wouldn't they jump ahead of them? Everyone's in love with Chicago. Everyone's, so don't give up on your Cowboys just yet. They're going to be in the playoffs, barring some catastrophic, thing happening. It's going to be what they do in the playoffs, and that's what most fans, and that's why your boy here has got his work cut out, because I got to get you guys hyped up. And I know I'm going to get the comments. Oh yeah, let's just wait till January. Save that shit. Don't even put it in the comments, because I already know you're going to say it. Save me the aggravation.
And again, man, we got thank you, Redskins, for taking DQ. I mean, it's a long season, man. There's a lot of stuff that's still got to play out. So,
well, the thing is, I see a lot of questions with Jerry Jones, and they're asking, we're going to pay CD. We got to get that done. Jerry Jones has had a little bit of an issue, right? He had a little paternity test. They some hush money, say, everything's going to be, quiet now. So they pushed the press conference. He does it usually, I think they usually do it today. They would have done it today, but I think they pushed it to the weekend. But now I think they pushed it back to tomorrow at 10:30. So people have been waiting and waiting. It's like, what is he going to say? What is he going to do? But I think we can go ahead and we can get you guys inside info. We can kind of take you in the mind, in the head of Jerry Jones, because I think we're going to have him on the show, and he's going to talk to you guys and kind of give the State of the Union statement for the Cowboys going into the season. So Jerry, go ahead and take it away.
Well, hello there, Cowboys Nation. It's been a long off season, full of lawsuits, paternity tests. I had an invite to the Maury show that I turned down because I am not the father. And there's no need to go on and take a lie detector test, because I never lie. Let's just face it, I really don't. And if we're going to get down to brass tacks, I told Cowboys Nation at the beginning of the off season that I would be going all in. And by all in, I meant all in the courtroom. But I did walk away with a win. And listen, when it comes down to getting wins, nobody does it better. It's just winning when it matters, right? That's what we need to get down to, is winning when it matters. And to do that, you need a complete team. And I feel like that we have ourselves a complete team. We've got ourselves a quarterback that we think can get the job done. We just have to get in the mindset of Dak Prescott so that he doesn't get that deer in the headlights look, so to speak. You're going down the highway, your brights are on, and that deer's got them big old bug eyes just staring at you, right? That's kind of what we've seen out of Dak. And if we can get in his mindset and get him to get over that, and just to not look at the headlights, don't maybe look at them out of your peripheral. Don't stare directly into the headlights. They'll blind you, Dak. They'll blind you. But we have confidence in Dak Prescott as being our quarterback. And we have confidence in CeeDee Lamb. We're working to get a deal done with him. But what you have to understand is there's only so much of the pie to go around. And if the pie is a small pie, then you can only cut a certain number of slices, and who gets how many slices and what slice. And there's going to be people wanting a bigger slice. And right now there's a lot of people hungry for pie, and we didn't bring maybe enough pie. But we're going to figure out the pie situation. Me and Steven are working on it, and we're doing our due diligence to make the best moves to get this team over the hump in the postseason. And that's what we'll continue to do as this Dallas Cowboys organization rolls into Oxnard, and the fine people of Oxnard welcome us in like they always do, because it's America's team, let's face it. And regardless of what we do or how we do it, we will always be America's team. So I just want to say that for those of you whose faith has been shaken, understand it's a long season. We're just getting started. There are moves that may have not been made. Sometimes if you're playing chess, you have to understand that your opponent may not know the next move that's coming. and they may not know, right? And for that matter, I may not know the next move that's coming. It may be Steven that knows the next move. That maybe it's Will McClay that knows the next move that's coming. But somebody within the organization, I'm sure, knows. And you got to hope and you got to wait, Cowboys Nation. But here we go. I just want to wrap this up now and say that for all those Cowboys fans out there that have been hoping on hope and saying, what in the hell are y'all doing? Just understand that even though you don't see the moves, those moves are coming, and you'll see them soon enough as we get this season going. Now, how about them Cowboys?
Well, it's always good to get some Swaggy J in here to get it. And I think you probably made more sense than Jerry will tomorrow. But what are they gonna do, man? I love the pie. I mean, he's always talking about that pie.
You got to throw in the pie. You can't leave out the pie. There's only so much pie. The pie is big. The pie is small. The pie has many pieces or not enough pieces. We'll see.
And then you one day we got to throw in. Now we're not dissecting a mosquito. He uses that one all the time.
Yeah.
He uses that one all the time too. But my favorite Jerry, just whenever you do Jerry, I always think of Jerry. And I love Jerry. I mean, you love him as an owner. You just wish they, sometimes they get out of their own way. But just a real quick story with him when he's on like 105.3, he's always due for some crazy ass Jerry story. And he was telling the story about his uncle. And it was about the time when the Cowboys, when he was buying the when he got the Cowboys in the late 80s and early 90s. And his aunt, they were at a party, and his aunt said, Jerry pulled him aside and said, Jerry, the family's working. They're worried about you. And he's like, what are you worried about? We're worried about you drinking. We think you're drinking way too much. And, that killed your Uncle John. And I don't know the names, but that killed your Uncle John. And he said, well, aunt, he was like 94 years old. He goes, yeah, but the alcohol finally got him. And he goes, well, if that's the case, I'm going to have another glass of whiskey. And he started drinking away because if I can live to be 94, then that's good enough for me or something like that. It was just funny. I know I butchered some of it, but you get the premise of the story. But I mean, you love Jerry because Jerry, and I think Ultra guys, he beats at his own drum. He's going to do things at his own pace. And I think sometimes when you see like the Dak Prescott and are they resigning what they're doing or whatever, he's almost won't sign him just so he can prove a point to say, I still run the show. The media is not going to tell me who and when and why and how I need to sign someone. I'll sign him when I want. Now, he brought up Emmitt Smith. They didn't want to make Emmitt Smith the highest paid, running back. They didn't want to do that. It took Charles Haley, to throw a helmet, about a foot away from him through the wall. And then he realized, maybe I ought to get Emmitt Smith. And that led to a Super Bowl. So I don't think CeeDee Lamb is going to be any holdout like that. I mean, he's going to get his money, but it's Jerry's Jerry. I mean, you love him, you hate him as, some of the stuff, but
it's a love-hate relationship for sure.
It is a love-hate, but anyway. So, hey, you guys, I mean, we've been rolling with you guys, 174 people hanging in the cave. We definitely appreciate a lot of you guys over watching us on X. Since Kelly begged last time, I'll beg. Guys, we got a lot of stuff going on. We've got a lot of great content. We just love interacting with everyone. It's like my man Cut said, the best part of the show sometimes is the chat because you guys all go at it and we enjoy it and we get to watch it and read it and all that. But hopefully you guys also enjoy the content that Kelly and I and Jimmy and everyone in the team and Greg, when he pops in, does. And just the easy way to support the channel is just hitting that subscribe. It doesn't cost anything. We're not asking for any donation. We're not asking for nothing. Just if you hit that, it just helps us and gets us the algorithm. It helps us find more people and hopefully grow the channel. And it's really, we want to grow the channel and have fun, man. It's all about having some laughs and getting to meet a lot of Cowboy fans and also some non-Cowboy fans. Got to have some haters in here too, because that makes it fun. But you guys, if you can, you hit that like, you hit the subscribe, hit the alert bell, because training camp's here. And I know Kelly may be popping in, while he's driving home with something to say. I may be popping in with something to say. I mean, it could happen at a moment's notice because training camp is going to do that. So hit that alert bell so you guys know the minute that we jump on, you're going to get that alert. You guys will be able to check it out. But the support that you guys give us, and we're getting close to 3,000 subscribers. We got a great giveaway when we get there. I think we're creeping up near 150 away. And then when we hit the 5,000, probably going to be too late this year because you guys were sleeping. But we have 2 tickets for the Cowboys game in your boys' seats, section 233. Kelly can vouch, pretty damn good seats. So we're going to do a giveaway for that. So it probably won't be this year because I'm gobbling up the dates already and making my plans. But if there is a game available and we hit the 5,000, I definitely offer it up. If not, it'd be next year. So that's what I got to say. And then also we got some cuts. We got the tailgate party, and we're gonna have a lot of fun. I know Steven's donating Sam Williams signed jersey. We're gonna do a little giveaway for that there. We're gonna think of something that'll be clever, maybe a shot contest or something. That way you get the jersey, but you won't make it in the stadium. Something creative. I know Kelly will think. I'll leave that up to the king of marketing. That's Kelly. And then we got a giveaway for Cuts by Jones, a beautiful signed George Teague cut. And so there's going to be a lot of fun stuff going on at the tailgate. And like we've said, it's you guys just show up. That's all you got to do. We will accept donations for that, only to cover some food and drink, things like that. We've got to get a couple parking passes for a couple people. So any donations like that, so we can have more space, we will, as we get closer, we'll put a Venmo or Cash App or anything like that. Or you can come to the stadium and just bring $5 or $10. We put it in the pot, and that goes to everything. So I think I tried to cover a lot of it, but I know I missed maybe 1 or 2 things. What do you say, Kelly?
Yeah, man. Also, I was going to say, man, we must have been on the same page today. We did not coordinate this, but we both got the Cowboys Cave shirts on. And you guys, they're still available if you guys want any Cowboys Cave merchandise. You can still go to Twisted Grill and pick these bad boys up if you want to have our mugs on here. You've got the Cowboys Cave tailgates, obviously in 2 different colors, as you see me and Mike both wearing the Cowboys Cave.
4 colors. But before, I don't want to cut you off, but you said something I've been meaning to tell you, and this is a job for you, king of marketing. I think we need a Cowboys Cave second annual tailgate party a commemorative shirt that these guys can get, and we can rock them at the tailgate, and we'll grab a few. Maybe we could give a couple away, but I mean, I don't know what they think, but I think that'd be pretty cool to get some, come up with a cool design. You did this design, so I got all the faith in you, and maybe we come up with a commemorative tailgate shirt.
I think that would be great, and I think that's a good idea. So I'm going to get started on that, and then we'll get a design going and get that worked up and get something going, man. Because I think, who wouldn't want to have a commemorative Cowboys Cave second annual tailgate shirt, so that you can have that as a memory and be like, hey, I was at the Cowboys Cave tailgate. Mike and Kelly and Cuts and all them guys out there doing great things, and Doug and Cuts are gonna be manning that grill, and we're gonna have a lot of great people out there. It's gonna be a great time. Looking forward to it. 3rd game of the season, 9/22, September 22nd, Cowboys Ravens, AT&T Stadium. Going to be one hell of a tailgate, man. There's going to be, it could be a couple of former Cowboys popping into the tailgate and swinging by, as well as possibly a couple of parents of some of the players. I'm not going to give anything away yet because I don't want to put somebody that say something that's not going to happen. But I'm just going to say, guaranteed, if you come by, you're going to see more than just me and Mike. There's going to be some other people that are popping in to say hi out there that'll probably get a kick out of it if you're a Cowboys fan to meet some of these other people that could be swinging through the tailgate. So going to be a good time. But like Mike said, subscribe, like, share, continue to support the channel. Everything that we do, that we can do, are able to do, is because of you guys and the support that we have from you guys. So thanks for everybody coming and hanging out on a Wednesday night. 181 people now in the chat. So you guys are all very much a part of the Cowboys Cave family by coming and hanging out, interacting. We got our regulars in the chat, but it feels like every week I see new people, into the chat that have, new people that are chiming in and participating. And that's what we love too, is audience participation. People, coming in here, and it's not just me and Mike talking to each other back and forth for an hour and a half. It's you guys that make this thing click, because there's a lot of times that we'll come into the show, we may not have a lot to talk about, but you guys take it, and you guys are the fuel for the engine that runs this Cowboys Cave podcast, because we always talk about it. we're fans just like you. So we love the fan interactions. It's you know, a show by the fans for the fans. I said that when I was asking for some subscriptions, and that's what we are, a show by the fans for the fans. So we can't do this without you guys. So again, thanks for all you guys do. Looking forward to having a great season this year with Cowboys Nation, regardless of the outcome. You know, I know Mike said it, and I've said it many times too. You guys are the greatest part of the Cowboys season. Honestly, it is. I love going to the games. I love watching the Cowboys, but it's the fans. It's being able to interact with fellow fans that share the same passion that me and Mike share for this team. You know, that's what it is. It's about making those memories. It's about making those trips and just developing those bonds and making those memories that'll last a lifetime. I could name off a dozen memories off the top of my head, man, that still get me laughing, from Mike catching an entire beer spilled by Mark in his shirt to piling in Mark's truck with about 8 dudes inside that truck and a couple of ladies inside there. So just all kinds of great memories, man. I love that shit. So I live for it, and I can't wait to see all you guys at AT&T this year. Yeah.
No, you guys take care. We appreciate it. We're going to work on the shirts, because here's what we can promise you, and leave you with this. I spent about $45 on a Green Bay Dallas Seize the Day playoff shirt, and that I ended up giving it away. You're going to get a shirt. It ain't going to be no $45. What is it, like $20, $25? You're going to get a great shirt that's going to be good, and you'll be proud to wear it, even if we ended up losing. But the beauty of it is, Kelly and I, we don't walk out disappointed when we see the Cowboys, you know, face to face. So it's going to be good. It's going to be a lot of fun. Definitely appreciate the support. You guys have a great weekend. Kelly, enjoy the Deadpool. Is it Deadpool and Wolverine?
Yeah,
is that
going out to see Deadpool 3 tomorrow with my boy, man. So it's a tradition. Each time these Marvel movies come out, we got to catch them. I'm looking forward to this one. Should be a good one.
All right, man. You take care. Enjoy it. We'll see you guys maybe over the weekend. If not, we'll be back on Monday. Have a good one. See you.
Give me somebody that's hungry. Give me somebody that's hungry.